The language exercises for Chapter 4 give you practice working with Hebrew nouns. The first exercise simply asks you to be able to reproduce the noun paradigm. You ought to be able to both say and write the paradigm at will. Sus, susa. Then for the dual, susayim, and notice that the accent is over the a vowel. Susatayim. Again, not with a final accent. And then in the plural, susim, and then susot. Part B then gives you practice using that paradigm to be able to parse nouns and adjectives. So for instance, if we see the noun devarim, I am able to use the paradigm that I just wrote, and I recognize that susim has the same ending, im, as the form I'm trying to parse. That tells me that I have a masculine plural form, and then if I remove im from the word, what's left is the residue of the root, devar, but once I don't have the ending, the vowel will become davar, the form I would find in a lexicon. Do the rest of exercise B to practice yourself. Exercise C now gives you practice translating actual biblical clauses and phrases. For each clause that has a verb, parse the verb. Use your lexicon to look up any glosses that you do not know from your vocabulary. To do the first as an example, we have Genesis 2:11, which says, Sham ha-zahav. As I look at this little clause, I have two words. The first, sham, is an adverb which glosses as there. And the second, I recognize as a noun with the definite article. So ha is the definite article, and that explains the dagesh, which doubles the zayin, because the definite article, remember, is ha plus doubling the consonant that follows. So I woodenly would have the, and then zahav is a masculine singular form because you notice there's no ending that matches the paradigm. And so I would simply look it up in the lexicon if I do not know the word, and it's gold. You might think then, how do I take there, the gold, and make a sentence? First, remember that verbless clauses do not need to say is, the verb haya in Hebrew, to be a clause. So you might think the phrase is the gold, or the clause is the gold is there. The only issue is this article seems very strange in English. The gold is there. The difference is simply that different languages will use the article in different ways. And in Hebrew, you use the article in this situation to talk about the thing or the type of thing, that gold is there. But the correct translation into English would simply be gold is there, because English uses the article a bit differently than Hebrew does. Do the rest of exercise C to practice reading phrases and clauses from the biblical text. Now in section D, we continue working on speaking the text correctly out loud. As with previous sections, pause the video and work on the first verse, in this case Genesis 1:11, and once you think you have it, unpause the video and I will read it out loud. Verse 11. Vayomer Elohim Tadshe haaretz Deshe Eseh Mizriach Zerah Eitz Peri ose peri lemino. Asher zar'o bo al haaretz vayhi kain. Now work on verse 12. Verse 12. Va totsei haaretz deshe ese mizriach zera leminehu va'etz ose peri asher zar'o vo leminehu vayar Elohim ki tov. Now pause the video and work on the next verse. Vayhi erev, vayhi voker, yom shalishi. Now the next verse. Vayomer Elohim, yehi ma'orot birkia hashemayim, lehavdil bein hayom uvein halayla, v'hayu le'orot ulemoadim uleyamim v'shanim. Now pause the video one more time and work on verse 15. Verse 15. V'hayu le'orot birkia hashemayim le'ha'ir al haaretz vayhi kain. After you finish this, go on to section 9, where we return to the question of transcription in order to enable you to use secondary literature and commentaries about the Old Testament as effectively as possible.